Hey Outlaws, welcome back. Before we start talking about this super awesome discovery, it's been a couple months since it's been found, but I want to talk about it now because Giant Sword channel. If you are interested in history and you like talking about history, I am reactivating my old channel. It's Digitally Twisted Music. It's going to be called Digitally Twisted History or Digitally Twisted Music History, something like that. Probably history. Generally what I did is I covered a bunch of Sabaton songs that obviously had a heavy focus on history. I reviewed the songs themselves. I reviewed what historical era or what historical event they were talking about. It was good. It was lots of fun, but it's been like, as you can see, 3 years since I've done it. Anyways, I'm reactivating it, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so just recently, a serpentine sword and shield, a shield-shaped mirror of exceptional quality was discovered in Nara. Now, this Japanese sword is a dako sword, a dakoken sword, which is serpentine, shaped kind of like a serpent, and its main purpose obviously wasn't for fighting, especially with the 7.5 foot long, because, you know, the Japanese weren't doing what I'm doing now, practicing with giant swords. They were putting these within burial chambers to protect the dead, especially high-class, like high-class ladies, high-class noblemen, to protect themselves in the afterlife from evil spirits. But what's also most interesting is that the world's, like so far, the largest bronze mirror ever found, calm down, cat, was also found within this burial chamber as well. You can see it right here. Obviously, it's a little beat up on the left side, but you can see some of the designs. And then right here, you have a little like kind of like X-ray kind of blasting it. And it's about 24 inches by 12 inches, which doesn't really sound like a whole lot. But when you're thinking about the level of craftsmanship, technology, skill, time that would take to craft something this size, especially in bronze. And remember, this is all 1600 years ago, and it's during the Kofun period. I'm not a Japanese historical expert. I'm just talking about it because of particularly the giant sword, and also the bronze mirror is pretty cool too. But the Kofun period basically was 1600 years ago, and during that period, they put in a lot of large, giant Japanese swords into burial chambers to protect the dead from evil spirits. Okay, so this particular one was found in Nara City, which is Japan's, I guess is Japan's largest circular burial mound. So not only was this found as like the largest Japanese sword, but this also is found in Japan's largest circular burial mound. Okay, so who excavated it? The Nara Board of Education and the Nara Prefectural Archaeological Institute of Kashihara announced these discoveries on January 25th. So like I said, it's been a couple months. Since Japanese bronze mirrors usually round, the shield-shaped one is unprecedented. So this is also one where it's like, hey, it's shield-shaped. It's also the largest bronze mirror ever found. So they talk about the serpentine sword being 237 centimeters long. I don't do centimeters. You don't do centimeters, probably. Basically 7 feet, 7.5 feet long. And you can kind of see it a little bit right here. I have a picture. There we go. This is generally, you can see it right here in the background of where it was found within this burial chamber. Now, it was located. So here's the burial chamber right here. And then you can kind of see it right here where it was found. And this is the top of the mound. And then the burial chamber is off on the side right here. And this is where the metal objects were found and unearthed. Okay. So they're kind of off to the side. Now, there was a wooden coffin that was also found within this burial chamber, but it was basically reported to be empty, not have any human remains inside of it, and really nothing much to say there. They did find some iron tools, some farming tools, but the most heavily focused was on the large serpentine blade and the bronze mirror. Okay, so it looks like there was traces of a hilt and scabbard. Okay, let's read this part right here. Based on traces of the hilt and scabbard, the serpentine Japanese sword can be reconstructed to 267 centimeters total length. That includes its armor. Interesting. So it's maybe possibly some armor here as well. Length of the iron sword is much longer than that 115 centimeter long sword found in Hiroshima City's Nakawara burial mound. I think I pronounced that correctly. Number 2 of the 85 known examples of serpentine swords excavated in Japan. So this one in particular is now the largest sword ever found in Japan in a burial mound. So this is quite a thing. And then there it is, kind of zoomed out, because this was an enormous burial mound. I believe it was about 100 meters long and about maybe 30 meters wide. So it's a very big deal for them to find all of these in there. And then whoever it was belonged to, or whoever it was supposed to belong to, because again, the coffin in the middle was empty. There's nobody in it. Now, my guess is if there was, and here's, take a look at the bronze mirror. Now, what's interesting is it does have like a little boss bump in the middle of it, kind of like a regular shield would have. So that's kind of curious. Maybe it is an actual shield, or at least a plate or a front of a shield, but I don't know. Okay, so with usually what I understand, like, you know, kind of like modern days as well, if there's no body in a coffin, it doesn't necessarily mean that the coffin was left empty or no one was meant to be buried there. Sometimes, especially in modern military funerals, if the body was too damaged or never recovered or in too many pieces, generally what will happen is an empty coffin will be buried. But that's just me guessing and estimating, okay? So that's not 100% fact. But anyways, hopefully this was very interesting to you guys. I found it interesting. I wanted to touch on it a little bit. It's basically the largest Japanese burial sword ever found. The Dako or Dakoken. All right, Outlaws. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, if you are interested in history as well, I do want to reactivate this channel, and I'll be posting videos on there as well. I'll see you next time.